It's a problem that can be as serious as it is costly. Gas lines breaking because excavators in Austin aren't following proper protocol. KITV's Sarah Navoy investigated who's breaking the rules and why taxpayers pick up the tab.
It's one of those things, a basic utility most Texans take for granted. But when that lifeline is cut, you realize quickly just how key natural gas really is.
Their gas line that they cut was about here.
Gil Barbarak had trouble with his water line back in November.
The city came out and decided it was mainly their problem.
But when Austin Water came out to fix the issue,
The digging the hole was going pretty quickly.
crews hit a gas line instead.
There was some fear of, gas building up in the house.
That didn't happen, but the fear is real.
Our natural gas event, this is what we're wearing. It's our structural firefighting gear.
Firefighters respond to up to a half dozen gas line breaks every day in Austin.
Twist it till it expands and it stops the flow of gas.
It's why they have trucks stocked with necessary clamps and tools to stop the leaks immediately. If they can't, they'll evacuate nearby residents.
Safe bed is usually 150 feet in all directions.
In Barbarak's case, the gas pipe was fixed in a matter of hours, but the story doesn't end there. We learned oftentimes when a pipe is busted, the excavator is busted too.
We try to determine were there any type of violations according to our rules.
The Railroad Commission is in charge of regulating all of the gas lines in the state. In 2007, they began to fine those who broke pipes and the rules that apply to everyone. First, call 811. Then wait 48 hours before digging. That way, all utilities, including gas lines, can be marked. If you're going to be using large mechanized equipment, the law says you must stay at least 18 inches from the line on either side. If you do have to dig closer, you're required to use hand tools. If you do hit a line, you're required to call and report it within 2 hours and file a report about the incident within 10 days. Fines for not following those rules can range from $50 to more than $3,000. We analyzed data for all gas pipe penalties in Austin for the last 2 years. Our investigation revealed the top offender in the city is the city itself. So we went farther back and found the city paid nearly $200,000 in fines in less than a decade. Out of all the departments, Austin Water broke the rules the most, costing taxpayers more than $100,000. Fines frustrated homeowners argue
You would think their employees would know better than anybody.
should be preventable.
Is this a simple process?
It's a process that when you're educated and you know about the rules, you should be able to be in compliance.
Armed with that answer, we sat down with Rick Coronado. For the last 3 years, he's been the assistant director of pipeline operations for Austin Water.
Would you say that your excavators know the rules?
I would say yes, they do. You have to also retrain, and as you bring in new folks, we have a large, I would say, inexperienced workforce.
We found at least 4 times Austin Water simply didn't call 811 before digging. 30 times they didn't dig with care within 18 inches of the pipe, and nearly 40 times Austin Water hit a gas line and simply didn't report it within 2 hours.
Those penalties alone add up to more than $40,000. How can you explain that?
I can only kind of comment on maybe the last 2-3 years. Previous times, there probably wasn't a process in place to notify the 811 center.
But now there is, according to Coronado. He says the inexperienced workforce of 350 is also involved now in year-round training. It seems to be working. In recent years, Austin Water cut the number of penalties in half. Still, Coronado admits more could be done.
I think it's kind of been a lesson learned. You look at the information and you try to improve on it.
There are additional costs associated with gas line breaks. The extensive response from firefighters, police, and other emergency responders ultimately cost taxpayers. It is important to note, however, that Austin Water reports that it digs more frequently than any other contractor in Austin. That's because they work and fix thousands of miles of water line around the clock. Reporting, Sarah Navoy, KITV News.